If I go, would you be happy in the end? So was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? Those memories, was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? So was it all for nothing? If I stay, would you run from me? If I go, would you be happy in the end? So was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? Those memories, was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? So was it all for nothing?
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're watching our cover of the ECAC Collegiate Halo League. In ECAC, Boise State is looking out to carve a place and make a name for themselves in this brand new league alongside teams like Albion College, University of Kentucky, and Muskingum University. Boise State is trying to pick up a win tonight so that we can get ourselves established very well in this very new tournament. My name is Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me to call all of the action is Hayden Vagar tonight. And so tonight, we have to talk about just the newness of this league and the newness of this game. How is being in such a new league that has almost no establishment different from being in a long-standing pre-established league?
Streets? Okay. I mean, there's such with Halo being as new as it is, it's just so hard to judge like good teams right now. Like a team can be really high placed or really low placed, and they'll be good or bad for a little bit, but there is so much room to improve as people still are learning the game and the metas and stuff. So it's a good placeholder, a good foothold to judge after we see the end of this, but in no way does it set everyone's teams in stone.
Which makes a lot of sense. What is important going into such a new standing league? What are teams trying to do here?
I think, it definitely is, what's the word? Kind of like such a good position to be in if you can like be at the top of this league and like really hone your skills early. I feel like that kind of makes you like a lot more well known and respected in the league, but it isn't the end all be all that typically more established leagues have.
Which makes a lot of sense. So before we get into the game itself, let's go ahead and take a look at our event. So tonight for ECAC Collegiate Halo, it's a 4v4, best of 5. Each team bans a map, and the losing team picks the next Halo mode. So what are the modes that we're going to pick, that we're going to see tonight from these teams?
All right, so the modes we got here, we got Slayer, very, very simple, just first team to get 50 kills. Doesn't matter how you do it, there's no extra objective, you just fight, and you gotta play well as a team, obviously, but not much else to it. Then we got Capture the Flag, very simple, take the flag from the enemy's base, bring it back to yours 5 times. We got Oddball, the Flaming Skull.
The Flaming Skull is so funny.
Gotta just hold on to it for dear life for 100 seconds. 2 times, because if 100 seconds one time wasn't hard enough.
You gotta manage it again. In between all of the shooting and killing, you gotta manage it again.
Yeah, so it's like a 3v4 half the time because you're holding it. And then the mode I've seen a lot of teams struggle on here, we got Strongholds as the last one with 3 different points. You got to be in control of at least 2 of them to start earning points. If the enemy even is contesting one of your points, you don't get them. And that one's the most interesting. You see a lot of teams literally just constantly running from A to B to C instead of just, you have A and B. You can just hold them. You don't have to run to C as well. And then it just becomes this big ring around the rosy style game.
And something that can help all teams on all modes is Doc's keys to the game, which we're going for right here, right now. Doc's keys to the game in Halo are to control that high ground, rotate to power items, team target, and sweaty comms. Sweaty comms is almost on every Doc's keys to the game. And Doc's keys to the game are brought to us by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com.
Yeah, sweaty comms is like, yeah, you see it everywhere here, and that's just because it is that essential.
Communication is important in all aspects of life, so of course it's important in esports. And we're going to take a look at our matchup tonight before we get right into that game.
Oh, it looks like the first map we got here is Streets. Getting a little fly through here. This first area looks so different compared to the rest of the map. You like look at it and you're like thinking it's just a whole different map. And then you get here and you're like, yep, that's Streets.
What are the strategies that we're looking for on Streets here tonight?
So I believe the first one is Slayer. So there's at the very beginning of the map, there is a rocket launcher spawn. It's just dead center of the map, equal distance from both teams, and whichever team gets that, I feel like really gets the momentum in their favor because they can get the rocket launcher. I always say it's about usually 2 free kills with that thing, and then while enemies are respawning, you can go for your other like lower tier power weapons like the Bulldog, the grappling hook, stuff like that.
We have seen some pretty intense double kill rocket kills, so I definitely would agree with you that that rocket is going to be important. What are the rotation strategies on Streets?
it's not necessarily like anywhere particular you need to rotate to. Obviously, you want to be ready for the power weapons to respawn and be in those places usually a good 15 seconds before they show up. You see too many teams just show up right as it's about to come up, and it's like, oh, the other team's already got advantageous positions and are already set up for it. But it's mainly just sticking together as a team. It doesn't matter exactly where you are, but you want to be in good position so you can follow up with your teammates.
And according to Doc's keys to the game, high ground is very important. This is pretty universal across all shooters. What is the best high ground in Streets as we get started here?
There's two spots. They're going to pass by it in this fly-through here, right there, up that stairwell. There's a battle rifle spawn, which is a little bit longer range weapon. Or, I guess, we're in the ranked rule set, so everyone gets a battle rifle. But it's still just a good position because it covers that rocket launcher. We're going to see that balcony as well is a good one. There's usually a stalker rifle, which is like a weird hybrid sniper rifle, DMR weapon that is very oppressive if used correctly.
And what is the correct use for that?
Typically, long distance, you just get those. It's only a 3-hit kill if you hit two shots anywhere and then one to the head. I've seen a lot of, I think, Mortar actually using it, just hip firing it, not even scoping down, using it in close engagements and stuff, and he puts in the work with it. So, I mean, maybe that's the right way to use it, you know?
Absolutely. Hip firing, no scope is definitely always the best way to get eliminations. And I mean, I say that somewhat sarcastically, but honestly, if it works, it just works. And clearly it must work for Mortar.
Yeah. You get style points for it, too. So.
And the style points are always important in Halo.
Mm-hmm. Then, yeah, I think one of the important things we're going to see is we know Calvin from previous games just loves the Bulldog. We're going to see it spawns in that alley right next to that yellow box. We can see it right there. Such a powerful weapon in the hands of Calvin. Let's see how many times he gets at this match.
And what sorts of plays is he going to be looking to make with that Bulldog?
Well, it's a shotgun, so it's going to be a close range engagement weapon. So we're going to see a lot of just aggressive play by usually Calvin's the one who gets it. I've seen Mortar pick it up as well and put in work. You want to hold these close angles. You want to play defensively. Or at the very least, you don't want to be caught out in the middle of the open with it, where it's not very useful.
So we're going to be seeing a lot of building play and corner play if you're trying to run around with that shotgun, which we expect Calvin to be able to do to great effect. Are there any other weapons you're specifically looking out for here other than the rocket and the Bulldog?
The only other notable one I see is there's a sentinel beam on the stairway near the arcade that I've heard a lot of mixed things. I still don't know exactly where people rate the sentinel beam. A lot of people say it's bad. I've seen a lot of people say it's decent, but one thing I've noticed is a lot of people have been using it, regardless of what they've been saying. So, I mean, we'll see if anyone decides to pick it up this game and try and put in work with it.
Do you think that the Sentinel Beam disagreement kind of comes from the mechanical skill and mechanical ability of being able to use the Sentinel Beam?
I would probably say so. It's instead of just a regular rifle or something like that, you have to hold it down and it just shoots a laser and you got to stay on target with it. So I guess it's more like if you can stay on target properly and I don't know how fast it eliminates people compared to the battle rifle or anything, but I think it's a good support weapon. You use it with a teammate nearby, get rid of their shields, and then the other person takes them out with a single battle rifle burst.
Would you go as far as to say mad because bad definitely applies to the Sentinel?
That could be it. I feel like it's almost like not a full-on meme weapon, but it's oh, they're using the Sentinel beam because they're just so confident and they're just kind of messing around almost. But maybe there's more to it than that. So,
are there any specific meme weapons that you're looking for if the Sentinel doesn't fall under that?
The only one I believe that spawns on here, and we're going to see it in a second if the camera pans to our right, I believe it's a disruptor spawn. Barely didn't see it in there. So this little shock pistol that I think after you hit someone 3 times, it electrocutes them for damage over time, but it's only really good at EMPing vehicles. in the bigger game modes, which in competitive Halo, there's no vehicle play in it. So we'll see if someone picks it up just for the fun of it, but that's about it. It's better than not having a secondary because you only spawn with your battle rifle, but that's the only other use I can see for it.
And since this is a 4v4, what are the ideal roles of the 4v4, and what do you need to expect from your teammates going into this?
I guess the main thing is like the roles are more like your specific weapons because everyone is the same character. They all have the same amount of shields, same health. They even spawn with the same weapons and equipment. So you'll see usually if there is a support character, it will be someone using a weapon that's good at stripping shields really quickly, so another person can just take out the unarmored opponents. So I know there's a pulse carbine somewhere on this map as well. That one, you have to be at very specific ranges for it to be good, but it strips shields in, I think, 1 burst or 1.5, something like that. And then if you have someone who is able to follow up with a battle rifle or something like that, very good. So just, yeah, we'll have to see if someone decides to be like the I guess, support role and just go around carrying weapons that destroy shields very quickly for their team.
Which is incredibly impressive to watch, just somebody get melted down after they've gotten all their shields. And it looks like we are going to get into the game here for Boise State, the ECAC Esports against Albion College here. And it looks like to start off, we're trying to get some sick cross-map snipes that are not going to pan Boise State's way here.
Yeah, the initial fight's always the scariest because there's that rocket launcher sitting in the middle right there. We got, oh, who is that?
A little bit of sneak trying to go on there that did not go the way of Boise State.
We got Zeke here. He managed to grab the rocket launcher and misses the first shot, gets the second. There's only 2 rounds in the rocket launcher in competitive though, so getting both those rounds off means that the opponents aren't going to be able to pick it up and use it against them.
Which is huge. You don't want, especially if you're playing group like Boise State is currently, you definitely don't want a rocket in the middle of you to ruin your whole day.
Yep, just easy multi-kills all around when that happens. We got Mortar here with the Bulldog, actually, not Calvin. We'll see. We got someone in Arcade. If he knows where they are and pushes them with that Bulldog, that's going to be very substantial.
Looks like he's definitely thinking about it as he's going to lob that nade around the corner. Reality is going to go ahead and get that elimination, putting Boise State 9-4 now as Calvin's going to go down with 10 minutes and 37 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I like Reality's play there. He's being a little aggressive, but he's not getting too overzealous while it's just him there. He doesn't want to be taking these 1v2 engagements.
Solo overzealous play is one of the things that will lead to death, exactly like that, putting Boise State at an even 10-6 here.
And he did get the solo kill.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. They traded very well there. They managed to get 2 for 1.
And Boise State is now up 12-7, so trades is definitely what Boise State's looking for here. However, Albion cannot afford to keep trading with Boise State. They need to get the eliminations, and they need to live through it.
Exactly. The rocket launcher spawn, I believe, is coming up soon. Yep, we got Mortar.
There it is.
Gets 1. Just going to sit back and let his shields recharge. Oh, they're nading him out. They just need 1 more good grenade here. In the ranked competitive set, there is no hit markers on those grenades either, so the Albion does not know if they hit that grenade or not.
Zeke and Mortar are going to go ahead and get a couple of eliminations there, and then Mortar's going to get another one, putting us 16-7 in the favor of Boise State. Albion College really needs to kind of step back and reevaluate their strategy here as they're being more than doubled in points by Boise State.
Yeah. One thing I find interesting is Boise State's feels like they're a little spread out here, but then you see all the angles that the rest of their team's at, and they usually can cover them in at least some form or at least easily rotate to them.
It's high-level play when you can play spread and still back all of your teammates, and Boise State is doing that to great effect. Calvin is going to go ahead and get eliminated there, putting us at 18-9, as Zeke is going to pick up the baddest ant over there, leaving us 18-9 with Boise State now more than double, 19-9 with 8 minutes and 41 remaining here.
Oh, the stalker rifle out there for a second. Unfortunately, they missed too many shots there. We got 1 more rocket. And he's like, nah,
Thinking
not
about it.
worth it.
Thinking he doesn't need to use it. Actually, he will go ahead and use it. Zeke is going to get the elimination, putting us at 21-10 for Boise State. 23-10. The whole members of Boise State are just popping off here, on and off camera, as Baddest Ant is going to eliminate Mortar and put a little bit of a stop to the Boise State reign of terror.
Baddest just barely getting out of there with that thruster pack. We got, looks like Zeke. They got him trapped in that little zone back in the arcade.
It's going to be a little bit of a bloodbath there with eliminations coming out on the sides of both teams, putting us now at 26-12, still in the favor of Boise State here with 7 minutes and 52 seconds remaining.
Reality with the rocket launcher here. It's very interesting to see that the 3 times the rocket launcher's been up, like I'm pretty sure the second it spawned, has been picked up by Boise State.
Boise State is on those rocket launcher spawns, and Albion College, if they want to try to turn this around, they really need to start getting on some of that. Even if it's just to take the rocket launcher away from Boise State, that is totally a valid strat in Halo. Grab something just because the enemy's getting value.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that the rocket launcher is essentially typically 2 free kills. So, especially in Slayer, where it's kills are the name of the game, that is huge. That's just an instant shift in momentum for your team. Oh.
We're going to see the Baddest Ant get the elimination there, but Albion College is really going to have to come up with something else than the odd kill every now and again if they want to take away this lead from Boise State with going 32-17.
Oh,
and
nice.
Losing that 1v1 to Reality is definitely not going to help Albion College here.
Got Mordor here in the alleyway. If he lands, oh, he's got Stalker Rifle ready as well. He's going to go for those hip-fire Stalker Rifle shots. Ooh, but Reality with a double there.
And that puts Boise State even more in the lead. Great job by Reality there, popping the corner and getting the elimination. Looks like they're taking a little bit of damage there. They might have to be quite careful within these next couple minutes if they don't want to get eliminated.
Yeah, just sit down and let your shields recharge. No need to rush it.
Especially when you have such a lead as 39-17, there really is no need for Boise State to rush anything as we get the elimination onto Delhi and Sir Paradox by Calvin and Zeke, 2 amazing members for Boise State. Zeke is going to go to that Main Street alley, see what they can do. Mortar's going to pick up their own elimination, and now Boise State is 7 eliminations from winning here at 43-17.
Calvin with an off-the-rack there. The rocket launcher just immediately picks it up and is like, there you go.
That looked a little rude. That was almost point-blank rocket, or about as close as you can get without eliminating yourself there around that corner. Zeke is going to get that elimination onto Baddest Ant, who seems to be one of the more prevalent members of Albion College there with the 6-6 in the kills, tied with Borzer over there.
We got some, ooh, nice.
Ooh.
No scope, no problem.
That was a little clean. Fantastic to watch on the side of Boise State.
Spectacular.
And Boise State is going to go ahead and pick up that first map on Streets there, just by merit of being able to get those eliminations better and more efficiently. And Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for players who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com.
Yeah, that was quite the match there.
Overall, amazing match by Boise State, but I have to ask, because there's got to be a way. What do you do when the enemy team is frequently has double the amount of kills that you do? How do you reset and kind of try to get things back in your favor?
Yeah, it's very, I don't want to say impossible. It's typically pretty difficult due to the fact that, like, you need to reset, you need to kind of group back together, you need to, like, play, like, let the enemy get overzealous and kind of like take the 2v1s, the 3v2s. You want to outnumber them, get those quick eliminations. But the reason that's so hard is just because of, all the power weapon spawns. You go to reset, and then it's like, oh, now they have the rocket launcher, they have the Bulldog. They have a lot more utility than you. But it's just getting those early picks as a team rather than kind of going in and like just trying to 1v1 people, because sometimes that just isn't in your favor. So
after that amazing almost roll by Boise State there, What went so right for Boise State? I mean, there were obviously a lot of factors to their success, but what do you think are the biggest ones?
I think it just came down to team play and always being there for the power weapon spawns. I don't think we saw a single rocket launcher that wasn't on Boise State's side. Even the one time, I forget who it was, one of the BSU players died with it, but they managed to they fired both rockets off beforehand. So they're like, you're not going to get any use out of this. So, and that and just playing together. They were always in a position, even if they were spread out, to just cover each other and just keep unfair fights from breaking out against them.
So playing angles was absolutely huge for Boise State because you're able to play spread, but you're also able to cover your teammates. Now, tell me about this map here and the strategies we're expecting to see.
Okay, so this one is live fire. We got it's a like kind of training range style map. It depends on I don't know which mode we're on yet, but the one mode you see a lot on this one is oddball. It's going to be oddball or strongholds. I know that. With oddball, one of the big strategies is you see all this like open water here. That's just the edge of the map. So with the oddball, you're holding it, and you realize you're gonna. Okay, I heard we're getting strongholds here. So with strongholds, I guess we'll go off that. Is you got that little bunker that you see right there on the flyby is where objective B is, and then we got A in that big building, and that tower has C or something like that, one of them. And B is such a advantageous spot. Like if you get it, it's so hard to retake just because it's in that the middle of the open there. So I think the main thing is we need to see who takes control of B and just holds on to it for dear life.
And how many members does it typically take to take control of B and to maintain that control of B?
It definitely depends on where the enemy decide to allocate all their members as well. But you typically want the unfair fight because you have to push into them to take that. Because what happens usually is you'll pelt them from afar, and if you can't get that kill, they're usually just gonna like take cover, let their shields recharge, and regroup. So you typically need more people for it, but then you also need to win decisively because usually what happens is you send 3 people there, but they only had 2. Their other 2 members are probably going to your other objective and winning the 2v1 there. So it goes around in this weird, like, oh, we took B, but then they probably took C back from us, so we got to go take A while they're respawning. And so it turns into quite the just battle of rotations.
Is a 2-2 split a viable strategy on this map for Stronghold?
Yeah, I think it could be. It definitely depends. Like you obviously run into 4 members. As
worst
the 2,
case scenario, yeah.
Yeah, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage. But if your hope is that the other 2 members can take advantage of that, all 4 members being in one spot, then I think it can work out in your favor. So it looks like we got 3 people pushing B on the BSU side.
And we definitely want B very, very defensible, just as you were talking about there, the most defensible. Boise State is definitely obeying that reality. Is going to go ahead and get eliminated there.
Yeah, he went for the sniper rifle spawn in that center hallway there, but was unfortunately not able to get the pick.
Delhi is going to get the elimination onto Calvin, and it looks like currently Boise State is leading objective, but not kills.
Yeah, but since this isn't Slayer, kills don't necessarily matter here. You can get... The most that kills do is keep the enemy off the board for a bit, so you can go and grab the objectives.
Boise State is playing to the win condition right now, which is the objective. Albion College is getting some score here, going 10 to Boise State's 18, but constantly going up here with 57 seconds left.
Yep, you only earn points if you were in control of 2 of them. So you see how one of those being contested right now, all the points stop because of that, even if they were just on it for a second, till it gets uncontested. So you saw, didn't see who that was, just holding the point as long as they could, even though they were going to most likely lose there. They were just delaying, buying time for the rest of their team to go and grab the other objectives.
Because the objective in Strongholds is greater than kills, as Zeke and Calvin are going to go ahead and get a couple of those kills to try to take this point over. So let's see if we can get Boise State to try to take the lead here. But they're not getting any They're not getting any point contention just yet, as Calvin's going to take out Delhi, but then get taken out themselves on point C, it looks like. And now Boise State, their numbers are finally going up here.
I like that strategy on Boise State's side. They sent 3 people to fight for A and then 1 person to go sneak onto C, which split the enemy team into dealing with the C player as well.
Because split play is definitely the way to play the Stronghold with 3 different objectives that can be shut down with just a simple contest. Boise State in the lead 34-28, so not a very big lead, nearly as much as Slayer.
A lot of trading going on here. We got Mordor with the Mangler here. Very good pistol if you can land your shots.
Mortar and Zeke are going to go ahead and land some shots right there and get some eliminations.
Yep, now 3 people rotating onto B here. Trying to keep the one. Nice, good trades there.
Calvin's going to get the elimination, and then they will get eliminated themselves here, but Boise State no longer has control of 2 objectives. Strike that, they're going to go ahead and take it right there, but somebody's contesting B, so Boise State really needs to rotate over there and see what they can get going.
2 people on B, but they got to remember someone's on that bridge keeping fire on them as well. The Mangler here, though, is perfect for these close-range engagements.
That was pretty clean. Came right around the corner, got shot, and then meleeed.
Yep. The Mangler at close range is basically just a shotgun or a sword or something like that. You got to be very careful of it at those point-blank engagements. Ooh, unfortunate.
Oof. That's going to be unfortunate for the side of Boise State, as now Albion College is getting those points there because they have A and B captured, putting us 40-56. But that Albion College is just ticking up more and more with 3 minutes and 34 seconds remaining.
Calvin can see that sniper, but was unfortunately not able to grab it from his hidey hole. We got the heat wave here on A. Very deadly weapon for this kind of engagement. Yep. Zeke gets a kill here on the Paradox.
Looks like Boise State is going to go ahead and take both A and B and now start ticking their own score up, 60 now to 52, as the Albion College still has control of point C.
Yeah, BSU in the situation doesn't need to push C. They just need to keep them off A and B. So just buying time here is probably the most beneficial thing. You can always go for C if you want to go and distract them, though, and force them to deal with you on C.
But because they already have 2 points, there's really no reason for them to go distract around C, and they really need to put their effort into defending A and B, which is exactly what they're doing. Even as some members try to contest point A, they are immediately turned away, and Boise State is still just gaining points here at 93-52. As now both A and B are contested with the split push from Albion College.
Mortar goes down, but his grenade managed to take him out afterwards. Calvin running for his life here.
And it does look like Boise State pushed point C. They were able to take it very briefly, but now it's getting taken back. But right when and now A is going to get taken from them, actually. So maybe Boise State just needs to commit to a couple and commit to the defensive instead of the running around play.
The one thing that this does accomplish, though, ooh, nice back smack there.
They weren't ready. They weren't ready for them to pop around the sky and just get that melee kill there.
Ooh, using the repulsor to jump up there. Don't see very many people use the repulsor like that. A lot of people just like to push enemies away with it instead of push themselves higher up or into a more advantageous position.
And the repulsor was meant to do both of those things, so it's always great to see Boise State using the game for more than what other people intend, as they're going to go ahead and get eliminated there, but still scoring with points B and C under Boise State control. Boise State has that B on lockdown and has almost the entire map as we go 109-69 here with 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining.
Yeah, BSU just, they have some wiggle room here. They don't have to necessarily just push right onto the site in a 1v4 or anything like that. They can take their time, reset, get a pick or two. Ooh, the nice snipe there.
That B is going to get taken away from Boise State, and it almost looks like A is going to get taken away too, as Boise State's trying to take back B. And very, very briefly, Albion College has all 3 in the red, even as B is taken right back by Boise State. And so is C.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often against 2 teams of fairly equal skill. Oh, the active camo and the heat wave, very scary. But managed to bring him down.
which is huge, getting that active camo and the heat wave out of the game, at least temporarily.
Yeah, in competitive, there's no overshields on it. I believe it's always active camo, which I thought was a strange choice at first, but the active camo is so strong that I definitely see why they just kept it to that instead of overshields.
We've seen some tricky stuff with active camo in these Halo tournaments, not necessarily by Boise State, but in other tournaments. So I would definitely agree with you that overshield might have been too much and presented a balance issue. As Boise State's going to go ahead and take all 3, and those points are racking up.
Oh yeah, you do not want to let a team be in control of all 3 at once, even if you just have to get people onto some of them just to stop the points from ticking up.
Even if you just have to throw bodies on the point, letting somebody have all 3 is bad, as Albion College is going to go ahead and take that red. But Boise State's trying to take it back. They're being a little greedy here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, oh, it's 250, not 200 points for the win. Going up, and it's like they're putting so much resources onto A here, but they can just hold B and C if they needed.
Boise State might get punished for their greed here.
Oh, he tried for the ninja there, but reality was expecting it.
Unable to complete the ninja play. A ninja that's spotted is not a very successful one, as reality is going to get that elimination on the deli. And Boise State maintains control of A and B, with Albion College having C.
The commando rifle here. That's probably why you don't use the commando on full auto very often.
You got to be able to hit those shots with the commando rifle, especially if you're in the close quarters, which is kind of a disadvantaged environment. Boise State's going to go ahead and retake A very briefly. Baddest Ant is going to get an elimination there, proving that they are, in fact, the baddest with 18 kills to their name.
Oh, and unfortunately, they just missed the shot. BSU, unfortunately, wasn't able to cap C in time with B, but they got plenty of time here, even more than last time, to just sit back and play together here.
It looks like they're approaching the point, going to try and take it away from Boise State. They will be able to get the elimination, but be eliminated themselves, as Albion College still has control of both A and B, though A is contested. Ooh, not for very long, though. And now even C is contested, so we might see Albion College get the triple cap there, and which is absolutely not what Boise State is looking for here. We need to get some bodies on some points and do it now.
Oh, going for an interesting jump there. I like the ingenuity of that. Looks a little difficult to get off, but if you can, that skips running across that one bridge onto C, which is very risky.
Risky plays are not what Boise State is looking for here, as even though they're in the lead, they only have 1 point, as they're going to go ahead and cap A there. And it looks like Boise State might have finally stabilized here, though there are some people on B that need to be cleared out.
Yeah, they just have to hold these 2. It's all on Albion to go and take the fight to them here. So they just need to sit back and defend.
They just need to take one of these, so it might be the point where on all 4 members commits to try to take A or something like that, which it looks like they did.
Trade each other out there.
That got deleted there with that explosion. And now we're going to roll in with B and C for the side of Boise State. Boise State really trying to pick up this win here, but they need to clear a body off of B first, which looks like it was done off camera.
Now they just got to hold B and C here, and then I believe that'll be the victory for BSU for this round. 3 seconds. Oh, and
looks like they're going
A.
for the greedy A play.
Yeah. I think that was so. It's like either they can take one, but we're going to take one right back. Which when you're that far in the lead, definitely works in Boise State's favor here, as they're going to go ahead and take that. And the Idaho Army National Guard is a proud supporter of Boise State esports. Top plays are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out on Twitch at iGuardGaming.
And as we go and head into a map 3 here, what are you expecting?
We'll have to see here. I believe if it has to rotate game modes to multiple ones, or it can't be the same one, we're going to either be seeing a oddball or capture the flag. So it'll be interesting to see which one gets picked here. Personally, I'm excited to see some oddball, so we'll see if that comes up. Capture the flags definitely can be just a stalemate half the time because neither team can actually push into the other team's base, so it just ends up being a lot of just fighting in the middle for no reason.
It does say a lot about the game that was as recently released as this new iteration of Halo, that Capture the Flag is infamous for being long and neither team really being able to do a whole lot. But those oddball plays, I affectionately refer to them as hot potato. What are you looking to see if oddball is the next game mode?
It definitely depends on what the map is. There's a lot of interesting, like especially as people are learning the game, interesting spots to bring the oddball to keep it safe. Like I can't remember if free charge is banned or not, but everyone just either takes it to where the energy sword spawns. There's this big like open water pit, and like they'll just hold it in that area. And if it looks like they're gonna die, they'll just jump off the edge with it and reset the ball. Or there's this long hallway in the other corner of the map, and people just sit there, and it's just this big mosh pit in this just tiny little room because it's such a good spot to keep the oddball, especially if you do pick up the energy sword early.
And if you are the carrier of the oddball, you have to expect the rest of your team to peel for you and keep you safe. What does that look like for the team members trying to support the person with the oddball?
Yeah, it's very much a team effort. It's very much a team effort. You'll see a lot of people, obviously they have specific strategies in mind, and so they'll usually like have a plan. It's like, okay, we got it. We're going to go here right away, and you'll usually just have everyone guarding them right away. It's a lot different than in solo queue where it's just like, okay, I'm going to run with the ball and pray my teammates actually are playing the objective.
And before we get to what another map that may or may not be oddball, we're going to throw to a break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Hello and welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. You're still watching our coverage of the ECAC Collegiate Halo League. And so, just to remind you, in ECAC, Boise State is looking to try to pick up a win tonight and really establish themselves very well in this new tournament, this new league, put them into a favorable position for the rest of the league and possibly future semesters of Halo. I am your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and joining me to call all of the action is Hayden Vagar on Halo. And we did get some news that Map 2 will be oddball on streets, which you did call the oddball, so what are you expecting on the streets map?
Well, one of the bigger things about streets is there's nowhere you can toss the ball, or at least nowhere that I've seen. There probably is. You can toss the ball to make it reset. So it's a little more interesting because you have to be a lot more careful about where your team goes and what fights you take, because if you go to a really defensible position but then lose because you're still rotating or someone gets picked on the way or something like that, you basically just gave them that free defensible position to go and hold out once they get the ball from you.
So you expect to see a lot of, if you manage to kill the person with the oddball, getting immediately rewarded by that through getting your own oddball, because there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, well, typically the team with the oddball is in a disadvantage because someone always has to be holding it. So you're basically in a 3v4. They can obviously throw it on the ground for a second and help out, but then you're not scoring points. So it's a very much a fine balance between holding on to the oddball and helping your teammates out. Sometimes it's better to just hold on to the oddball for as long as you can once you realize the fight's lost, and then just try and, right before you die, try and chuck it into a very unfavorable position, like into the middle of the map or something, just so it's easier for your team to like try and retake it before they can get to somewhere that's pretty good to hide.
So you expect to see a lot of switching back and forth. If you're the attacking team trying to take the oddball, what are you trying to do? I mean, obviously, other than eliminate the person with it.
Yeah, I think definitely getting those power weapons, getting like good utility and stuff like that can help out a lot, because if the other team's, going to group up around the rest of their teammates or their teammate holding the oddball, that should give you ample time to go and get like, the Bulldog, the rocket launcher. I don't think there's dynamo grenades on here, but those would be really good. I think they're on a few of the other oddball maps. Just good equipment to go and take that back. And then once you're holding the oddball, you have that equipment to defend it as well. So we'll have to see if teams prioritize the oddball first or the good equipment first. Typically with BSU's track record, we've seen them prioritize the good equipment first and just play the slow, steady game. It's like we don't have to start racking up points right away. We can win the good fight and then get all the good weapons and just hold it then.
And we do actually have some extra in-game advice through Doc's Keys to the Game, which we can feature for Halo, which the most important one is sweaty comms. So what do the comms sound like if you're the attacker trying to get the oddball back?
For that, I think it's definitely enemy positioning, and you want to make sure you're always near a teammate to win those unfair fights, because, yeah, when they're holding the oddball, you have the advantage. But if you run in, like, one at a time, you're obviously just handing that advantage away if they manage to get those good picks. So you definitely want to keep an eye on where the enemies are at, where they're vulnerable, and go and just pick them one by one. You don't have to get all them at once or just make a big push. You can kind of, like, whittle them down at first and then make your push.
Do you expect Albion to be any better at getting the rocket when they need to against Boise State?
We'll have to see. I definitely liked their play on live fire last round. They had a lot better team coordination. They were grabbing the power weapons more. We saw a lot of, especially the heat wave, that shotgun. So I'm wondering if, seeing that, they've kind of saw, like, oh, we need to not let them get the Bulldog, let them get the rocket launcher. Let's, Mordor, especially with that stalker rifle as well. We don't want to see him getting that. So it's like, okay, let's prioritize those weapons and get them out of their hands so we can, even if we're not quite, like, as good necessarily, just, which I don't know, obviously, but just getting them out of their hands is more than enough. And then obviously having them in your hands is also better.
So do you think Albion will be able to get those items and kind of turn around what has been so far a relatively one-sided matchup?
I think it's definitely possible. I think the biggest thing it comes down to is making sure you push as a team. And it's kind of hard in Halo as well because of all the grenades. So you want to like be close to each other, but you don't want to be so close that you both get hit by like 2 grenades and just die right off the bat. So I think if they can, specifically on this map, I'm expecting to see if Albion can make like a good push onto the alleyway. That'd be a promising start for them because we know both teams really like the Bulldog, and then the alleyway gives you easy access to the rocket launcher after that. So we'll have to see how the teams move out at the very start. I think that's going to set a big precedent for the rest of the game.
Is there ever a situation in which you as the oddball carrier just want to start kiting around the entire map without your team and hopefully away from the enemy team?
Yeah, I mean, if you see a fight turning south, your first instinct, well, so first off, it's, can I help my team? Should I throw the oddball down and join the fight for a minute? Or is it lost and I should already be leaving the defended area to just hold the ball as long as I can and then hopefully toss it somewhere that's less advantageous for the enemy team?
There's a flow chart if you have the oddball, and the first step is, should I help my team? So we'll be able to see here who is able to get it first and whether or not they will be able to defend or hold that for very long at all.
Yep, we got Reality here with the rocket launcher. The ball's still just sitting there. We got Reality already bringing it back. Just unfortunate. The Bulldog actually wasn't grabbed by BSU like they normally do. Someone actually beat them to it for the first time I think I've seen.
Which is exactly what Albion College was hoping to do here as we go 11-0, and the ball is taken by Albion College here, and then the ball carrier is immediately killed. So we're sitting 11-1 as it's picked back up.
Yeah, that's
Then immediately put back down.
That rocket launcher shot by Calvin was very unfortunate. That was one of those ones where it's like, oh, that's got to have interesting.
That rocket launcher hurt so bad it affected the screen over here as they eliminated not only themselves but the enemy, and then put that ball in the middle of the playing field where nobody else was able to grab it. It does sound like, we just heard from production, that there was a game crash. So as we're waiting for everything to get back online and this thing to get back set up again, what is the correct play when both teams are having a firefight, essentially what we just watched, over the ball?
I think so one thing, and we did see a little bit of it on both sides there, is they were definitely just in a rush to get to the oddball. It wasn't like, let's regroup, or let me wait like just a couple seconds for at least one other teammate or something. It was just like, okay, we need to pick up the ball, and people just kept running in. I think that was also because the rocket launcher fell down there, and they're like, okay, we don't want them to have it. But then I don't remember which player it was for Albion, but they had the Bulldog in that close quarters environment, and people just kept running in, and he just had such an advantage using that against battle rifles at that range.
They were farming the eliminations over there with that Bulldog right around the corner as everybody just rushed to throw bodies on that oddball. So the play is to regroup. What happens if while you're regrouping, they get the oddball?
It's like, I mean, so whenever you have the oddball, it shows exactly where you are while you have that. So it's like, you know where they're at. You can just, you can let them hold on to it for a minute. You obviously don't want to. All right, looks like we got the game back. It's not obviously the most advantageous thing, but sometimes it's better to just let them hold the oddball for a minute instead of keep running in and risking it. And if you die, you obviously got to wait longer to get another go at getting the oddball. So it can be a worse decision to just keep running in because you can never get a solid push.
And it looks like Boise State currently has the oddball. They're going to go ahead and drop it as they try to get some eliminations here and help their team to pick it back up again. Boise State is sitting 50-28 against Albion College right now, halfway to victory.
Yep, looks like they're going to be going up into the subway area and just holding it up on the second-story balcony. You do have to be a little careful about fighting the oddball carrier in very enclosed spaces because you can melee really fast with the oddball. I believe it's faster than any other weapon in the game. And so they're not quite defenseless.
Gotta give them a little bit here as the oddball is just 100% dropped as they're going to run around and see if they can get any eliminations, see if they can bait anybody to picking it up. And it looks like the Albion College is going to pick it up and then immediately get eliminated and drop it. And Boise State is still missing out on some very valuable oddball percentage here.
Yeah, sometimes I think Boise State does a really good job of it, but they know, like, it's not just I mean, it is, but you don't have to just hold the oddball 24/7. Sometimes it's better to win the fight or get a pick and leave the oddball on the floor for like a solid 10 seconds because you're able to break the enemy's momentum and make them regroup instead of just holding it and praying that your team wins the 3v4.
And it does look like that will still work in their favor as now they have re-picked it up off the floor and taken advantage of it here as we are now 66 and climbing against 29 as the ball is now dropped and then picked back up again and then dropped again immediately. So it looks like we're now at 72, and that is just going to be a 2v1 where it is immediately taken down. And
oh, Calvin managed to win that against the Bulldog. That was a scary situation there. Could have been pretty dangerous because then Albion would have the oddball up in subway for themselves.
And, I mean, obviously the subway strategy is working for Boise State, so there's no reason that it wouldn't work for Albion here, but they were unable to do that because Calvin pulled out the clutch as now Boise State is getting a little bit of the elimination there. They're going to go ahead and pick that oddball back up, taking us to 75 and still climbing versus Albion's 29.
Yeah, we had Zeke there with a really nice side thruster there to throw off the enemy's aim just enough to be able to get that final shot. Looks like Zeke's just chilling here. He's just like, okay, I'll sit back. I'll let you guys have all the fun and fight. I'm just going to walk around, get a nice tour of the subway here.
And the subway is the thing where they were holding so defensively. And honestly, most of their 100 seconds there was spent in that subway. Even more than that, actually, because they dropped the oddball to win fights, as now both teams are going to just furiously sprint for the oddball here back in the center.
Yeah, they're right away we got, I believe this is Calvin, or this is Zeke. Yeah, he got the Bulldog, he got the double kill there, and they just got a clean wipe on all four members before they even picked up the oddball, and now they just are like, okay, let's sit back, let the enemy start heading back, and let's hopefully pick them as as they're moving to the oddball player.
And it does look like Calvin has that right now, putting Boise State at 20-0 as they're going to go ahead and drop it to try to win this fight here. And Reality's going to go ahead and take an elimination, which will make things easier for Boise State, but they haven't decided easy enough yet to pick the oddball back up as more eliminations come out. And Calvin is going to be a bit of a casualty on the side of Boise State as they pick the oddball back up and take it 29 and still climbing here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be holding it around that corner of the map. I believe it's called Police Station. You see a lot of teams like to hold either police station or subway, as they're just very hard to push into, especially if you do have power weapons to keep enemies out.
Zeke needed to hit slightly more shots there if they wanted to survive that encounter. They will be unable to do so. Boise State has dropped the oddball at 39 to now. Now Albion College has touched the oddball for the second time in this matchup, and they're going to get it to 6-7 and still climbing as Boise State is on the hunt to take this away.
It looks like they're resigned to just holding the oddball for as long as they could there. And then trying to bring a player down right before the end. But you got to remember, they put the oddball in police station and died with it. So now BSU has control of police station with the oddball.
And police station is one of the points on this map where people tend to defend that oddball there just because there's only two entrances. And if everybody's looking at them, it's pretty hard to sneak up, especially if you have a Bulldog.
Exactly. Now we got a duel here. Oh, Zeke managed to get the first one, but not the second.
Zeke's mechanical skill is phenomenal in the 1v1. Sometimes they seem to find themselves overwhelmed if it's a 2v1 or more, which is completely understandable for most players.
Yeah, especially with the higher time to kill in Halo. It's a lot harder to get those double kills in a 1v2 situation. Zeke with the stalker rifle there. Seems like a lot of these players just don't scope in with the stalker rifle, which, I mean, is valid when they're still landing those shots. Seems like people use it a lot more just as a rifle instead of a sniper.
Zeke is going to find themselves blown up there in what looked a little bit violent as the oddball is still just kind of rolling around on the ground, leaving our two teams at 61-14. Neither one of them currently gaining any scores with only 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining.
Yeah, where the oddball's at right now is not a very good position for it. So many easy angles to see it from right off of spawning. Like, it doesn't matter where. Most people are going to be able to see it in this area.
It definitely looks like that initial firefight. It's in a similar place out in the open here. Albion's going to go ahead, try to grab it, get a couple of percent. We are at 17 and still ticking up for Albion College, as now Boise State is going to try to get them to drop that. They're on the hunt for that carrier there, spread out and flanking.
See, we got battle at the ATMs there. They managed to get the oddball down. See, there's a rocket launcher spawning in 10 seconds. Let's see if which team's going to prioritize that. Calvin managed to get a good trade for Zeke there. Look at Zeke, his oddball time was 1 minute and 29 seconds there. Just, you know, someone's got to hold the oddball, so it's commendable.
Super commendable because everybody knows where you're at and they're all gunning and shooting at you, and all you can do is melee real fast and hope your team can cover you.
See, we got Mordor with the stalker rifle again. Zeke respawning. Let's see. Zeke should probably help him out. And yeah, it looks like,
Ooh.
He managed to survive that rocket launcher.
Oh my
just
gosh.
Barely. We got, it looks like they're just taking a second, regrouping, and then they're going to go after the oddball here.
When that rocket launcher was shot, I saw Zeke's life flash before my eyes. That's how worried we were here. As neither team currently has any oddball percent picking up right now, as we are 81-42 for the side of Boise State.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing right now is actually getting to the oddball. Too many, or so many people are just fighting like wherever they see each other, and so it's just been sitting here with a bunch of little skirmishes everywhere on the map.
Because it's in such an open place, neither team is really able to get there safely to be able to cap it, even though both teams are getting pretty consistent eliminations.
Got a push here by Albion.
Ooh.
They managed to go 1 for 1 here, but doesn't look like that's going to be quite enough.
Boise State is able to pick up the oddball there, ticking their time up to 90-42 and only getting higher as Boise State members without the oddball are looking to get some eliminations to safely carry this around, but they will get eliminated. But it does not matter. Albion's efforts are all for naught here as Boise State is going to go ahead and take that 2-0 with the oddball on the streets.
Yep. And I believe that was, BSU victory here.
BSU victory screen. We always love to see it here. Boise State's going to go ahead and 3-0 Albion College, though that 3-0 is a little bit deceptive because there were definitely some times where Albion gave them more than a run for their money, especially on that last oddball map when the oddball was just out in the open. Albion was able to consistently trade with Boise State, and that prevented them from winning this match sooner.
Yeah, there was just so many situations where, like I was discussing, it was just getting to the oddball. So many people were just like making their way toward there for the fight, and just someone else would be like spawning away to the left or right, and you're like, oh, let's just take him out. And it seems like no one was even near it for quite a bit.
There was a solid minute where nobody could get to the oddball, and anybody who tried on either side got eliminated just because everybody was looking right in that corridor.
Yeah, it just focused everyone's attention right on it. No one's allowed there.
Are there any players that you'd like to highlight for player of the game?
Oh man, I really liked Mortar's stalker rifle plays.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were very good with it, but just I feel like we always seem to be on him when he had a stalker rifle.
As it should be, because Mortar was definitely making some amazing plays with that stalker rifle. I would like to nominate probably Calvin just for their ability to land those 2v1s consistently. We saw it most impressively on the oddball map when they were able to get the 2v1 and maintain Boise State's dominant control over the subway. But Calvin, pretty consistently when they were up against two enemies at least, they were able to win the 1v1 and then immediately after that get the next 1v1 before getting eliminated themselves. And honestly, that speaks to a level of mechanical skill that very few Halo players can claim to have.
Yeah, exactly. His, especially with the Bulldog, Calvin is a force to be reckoned. Oh, and it was Zeke.
And it does look like it will be Zeke. They picked up a lot of eliminations. You could make an amazing highlight reel off of just Zeke's play tonight as we go on here.
Yeah, no, he did such a tremendous job, like just not only fighting, but he was also typically the team player for the objective as well. So being able to do both is pretty insane.
Which is what you need in a player, and the player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player like Zeke makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members achieve financial success. Zeke is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, and definitely worth the effort. It's really hard to find somebody in Halo that can play the objective, but also get all the eliminations that they need to have. And that well-roundedness is what earned Zeke player of the game here.
Yeah, that was quite the match there. There was it's getting a little worrisome on the Stronghold one, I will say. Albion definitely, you can tell they've been working on their Stronghold gameplay, especially on live fire. I feel like they had such good rotations there, but made it a very close one.
I 100% agree. I would say that Albion's rotations were much more together and more thought out than some of Boise State's rotations, but I think Boise State kept winning the mechanical skill battle and getting those eliminations. And I mean, you can have the best rotations in the world, but if you're unable to get to those points to do more than just contest or throw a body on, you're not going to end up winning the Stronghold. And I think that that was Albion's biggest issue that they faced with Boise State tonight. Are there any final thoughts for either team that you'd like to present before we go ahead and close out here?
I think Albion and BSU definitely have both shown that, like, as we get further into this league, that teams are definitely getting better. A lot more strategies are coming out. Like I saw, even just little things like that jump that I believe it was Mortar. He didn't manage to make it, but just like all these little like strategies to get to places faster, to rotate better, good team strats. Like it's definitely starting to get more complex, and we're starting to see a bigger skill ceiling emerge.
And I think that that skill ceiling will only continue to get greater as we go on here. And before we go into our top 5 plays and end this matchup, the top 5 plays are presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. And from all of us here at Boise State, thank you for joining us. Be kind, wear a mask, and stay safe. Solo overzealous play is one of the things that will lead to death, exactly like that, putting Boise State at an even 10-6 here.
And he did get the solo kill.
Oh. Back all of your teammates, and Boise State is doing that to great effect. Calvin is going to go ahead and get eliminated there, putting us at 18-9, as Zeke is going to pick up the baddest ant over there, leaving us 18-9 with Boise State now more than double. 19-9 with 8 minutes and 41 remaining here.
Oh, the stalker rifle out there for a second.
State with going 32-17.
Oh,
and
nice.
Losing that 1v1 to reality is definitely not going to help Albion College here.
Got Mordor here in the alleyway. He lands. Oh, he's got a stalker rifle ready as well. He's going to go for those hip-fire stalker rifle shots. Ooh, but reality.
Deli and Sir Paradox by Calvin and Zeke, two amazing members for Boise State. Zeke is going to go to that Main Street alley, see what they can do. Mortar's going to pick up their own elimination, and now Boise State is 7 eliminations from winning here at 43-17.
Calvin with an off-the-rack there. The rocket launcher just immediately picks it up, and they were just on it for a second till it gets uncontested. So yeah, you saw, didn't see who that was, just holding the point as long as they could, even though they were going to most likely lose there. They were just delaying, buying time for the rest of their team to go and grab the other objectives.
Because the objective in Strongholds is great.